Hey, what's up, Bowl family? It's Bo Pearson again. We've got another day of kettlebell workouts. So first thing is make sure you take off your watches, bracelets, anything, because we're going to be doing lots of kettlebell swings, kettlebell cleans. Again, today is another high intensity interval training day, but we are basing our workouts off of using a kettlebell, just one kettlebell. I have a 30-pound kettlebell here. Whatever you have at home is going to be just fine. You can always adjust how difficult things are by increasing your tempo or decreasing your tempo, whatever it might be. But again, today is going to be a kettlebell only workout. It's going to take us about half an hour, maybe a little bit more. We're going to kind of push the time and intervals a little bit to be a little bit longer so we can get ourselves a little bit more of a difficult workout. If you had tuned in last week for kettlebell workout number 1 of last week, it's going to be the same workout this week. The reason being is that we can repeat these workouts, not because we're lazy or because we're running out of ideas, but because we can actually improve on what we did previously. If we do things that are too random, well, we're never going to actually adapt what we're doing. So today's going to be a kettlebell workout week 2, day 1. And it's going to be about 30 minutes. So grab your kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can probably do a lot of this workout with maybe a backpack or even something like a container of laundry detergent, something with a handle. Maybe it's a bucket with sand. A lot of the stuff you can do with some alternate equipment if that's all you have at home. But we're going to get started. We're going to do a lot of swings today, a lot of hip extensions. So I'm going to get started with the warm-up by warming up the glutes and really trying to get some, I've also been doing a lot of sitting, so we're gonna do some bridging, warm up the glutes, and get started here. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start out by lying flat, and then my knees can be pointed up towards the ceiling, and with both my feet on the ground, I'm just going to bridge up towards the ceiling and hold it for 2 seconds. 1, 2, back down. We're gonna do 5 of these. 2, 2. 3, 2, squeeze those glutes at the top, 4, 2, and 5, 2. Now we're going to continue to do the same thing. We're going to bridge up with both feet, and then we're going to come down with one foot. So it'll look like this. Bridge up, take one foot off the ground, bridge back down. Bridge up, take one foot off the ground. Go 3 on each side. 2. Try and keep those hips high. As soon as your foot comes off the ground, All right, so reason why we do a lot of this, a lot of glute activation, you've probably seen a couple of these workouts, is because we spend a lot of time sitting throughout the day, and our hips are going to be our primary drivers for a lot of explosive movements. So now that we've done our kind of waking up our glutes a little bit, we're going to get started by raising our body temperature. I've got about 6 feet of space here, so I'm just going to go forward jog, backward jog. And again, we're just trying to increase our body temperature here. Quick off the edges. And go high knees forward, high knees backwards. So like this, and backward. And now we can go side to side, shuffling. Again, trying to get our body moving, waking up our nervous system, increasing our body temperature, increasing our breath rate, trying to get things going, get that blood pumping before our workout. And sideways high knees, just like this, back and forth. Awesome, awesome. How are we doing? Starting to get our breathing a little bit faster, a little bit more rapid. Now we're going to actually get into some more activation. So single leg, stand on one foot here, reach the heel back, reach the arms forward. So if you've tuned into a couple of these workouts, you'll see that we stick with a lot of the same movements because they work really well. And they're movement patterns that are super important. So this hinge here is super important. We want to be able to hinge at the hip while keeping our back straight. Use those hamstrings, use those glutes. That's what we referred to as the posterior chain. Posterior meaning backside, chain meaning several muscle groups that work together to perform certain functions. All right. Awesome. And then in place, you go feet right underneath you. You go hands in front or hands behind. We're gonna squat down. Knees go out over the outsides of our feet, over those outside toes. If we're going with this variation, we're keeping our chest up, hands behind our head. If you need to, you can go hands in front of you. Or if you need even more help, you can actually pick up your weight and goblet squat, okay? That might, because you're counterbalancing there, might give you a little bit better technique with that squat. Okay, moving on to lunges, reverse lunges or forward lunges. You choose. I'm gonna go with reverse lunge, just like this. So I step straight back, my knee hovers over the ground. It's okay if my knee touches the ground, but we want it to touch very lightly as if the ground were an eggshell, okay? We wanna stay under control. Now keep doing our reverse lunges, arms overhead. Once we get to that bottom position, turn. Good, and switch the other way. You can also play around with this a little bit. Instead of turning, maybe lean towards that upward side. Feel free to explore movement a little bit. You don't have to stick with this rigid, with a rigid warm-up. Okay, right where you're at, let's just go knee hug, quad stretch, quad stretch. We're getting into the phase of the warm-up where it's more about mobility now. So we're getting a little bit of dynamic stretching. So far we've gone through some movement to raise our body temperature. We've gone through some activation drills to get our balance tuned up. Now we're going through some mobility. Okay, knee hug, quad stretch, quad stretch. You can grab your shin, pull your shin towards your face. Do a little bit different stretch there in the hips. Okay, with our arms, because we're gonna be pressing overhead in this workout. With your arms, go thumbs up, straight in front of you. Backward arm circles as big as you can make them, okay? Don't need to go fast here. Going to lead with the thumbs up. Once you get to the very top, here so you can see me, once you get to the very top, turn and then lead with the thumbs down. Just do 2 more of these, really, really big. Again, reach up as high as you can, turn, reach back behind you as far as you can, okay? Reach back behind you as far as you can. All right, push-up position here. We're almost done with our warm-up. You can go push-up, down, then back up, and then pike with your hips. Downward dog if you do yoga. Back to a push-up. You can modify this by going to your knees and then going up to that downward dog. If you want to, you can throw a reach in here. So reach opposite hand, opposite foot. Again, you get to play around with some movement here during your warm-up. We actually view the warm-up as part of the workout. Okay? It's just as important, if not more important than your workout, because we want to make sure that you're prepared to move, prepared to work hard. And a lot of the stuff that you do in your warm-up can actually give you benefits over the long term if you're doing them consistently. Okay. We are ready. We are ready to start our workout. So grab a kettlebell, make sure you have some water, make sure you have maybe a sweat rag. I'm definitely gonna make use of that. Here we go, I'm gonna flip it over and show you guys what we have. We've got left arm cleans, left arm presses, right arm cleans, right arm presses. One arm clean to front squat on the left side, one arm clean to front squat on the right side. Again, we just need one kettlebell here. One arm squat to press on the left side, one arm squat to press on the right side, okay? So this is what we have stacked up for us. Go ahead and start my workout, fill out my readiness questionnaire. Not really sore, a little stressed. Gotta be high energy for this one. Happy and slept pretty well. Okay, just did our warm up. We're gonna get into it. Okay, here we go. I've got my 30-pound kettlebell. We're gonna start on the left side, so it's gonna be mirror image. It's gonna look like I'm using my right arm, but it's mirror image for you. Okay. Start with your kettlebell here in the front rack position. We're just gonna drop it down and pull it up. Okay, drop it down, pull it up. Keep this kettlebell close to you, because if you let it go too far away, it's gonna come back crashing, okay? Have a nice easy grip here, and rest. That's the time interval right there. Rest. So while we are resting, getting ready for our next set, which is gonna be a one-arm kettlebell press, overhead press. Again, we wanna keep this kettlebell close to our body when we do our swings or our cleans, okay? We wanna hold that kettlebell here, deep within our palm, to give us a little bit more control, okay? So, for our presses, bring that back up here in your left hand, looks like my right hand. And just gonna press overhead, keeping pretty much everything else still, okay? Feel free to follow that kettlebell with your eyes so you get rotation, the neck. And that's it, and it's time. Next set is gonna be cleans on the right side. Again, grab that with your palm, pull it up, hold it here to start. I'm going to start my timer, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, pull it back up, okay? My legs don't actually have to bend a whole lot, right? I'm just using my hips to pull this back up. Extending my hips. Notice how this kettlebell stays really close to my body. Time. All right. Now we've got our presses with our right arm. So we just did left arm clean, left arm press. Just did right arm clean, now we're moving on to right arm press. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press overhead. All right. Yeah. 5 more seconds. All right. Okay, we're gonna move on to our left side, back to cleans. If you've been following and doing these workouts consistently, today should actually be easier than last week for sure, because you're making adaptations to these types of work demands. This might not be as challenging as last week, hopefully, or maybe it's your first time and it is challenging. Okay, one arm clean on the left side, pulling it up here, 15 seconds worth of work. Drop it down, pull it back up. Keeping this close to the body. And time. Gonna move on to our presses on the left. Got a request to demonstrate cleans with the backpack. So if we're gonna be using a backpack, you may modify to just a kettlebell swing here, which would look like this. I'll make sure you can see it. We hold this in front to start, swing, just like this. Okay, if you're doing a clean, you're probably gonna wanna go underhand here. And you're gonna drop down, pull up. You can see here. Again, not perfect, but we do what we can. So maybe that swing might be easier. Okay, so one arm cleans on the left. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And rest. Moving on to presses on the left. I might have done that last one twice. That's all right. Moving on to presses on the left. Ready. You can increase tempo to make this a little bit harder. Still under control, but a little bit more tempo on that press. Good. One arm cleans on the right. How we doing here? There we go. Okay, start here for our cleans. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, pull it back up. Again, feel free to modify your tempo. If you need to slow things down, by all means. If you want to speed things up, well, you can choose that adventure as well. All right, rest. Yeah, shout out for Black Keys. Yep, there's gonna be a lot of that on this playlist. So hopefully you like it. Okay, one arm presses. Presses on the right. Ready? Hold that here in this front rack position. And press up. Notice I'm getting a little bit of a rotation in here. So palm facing me, and then palm facing away. Whatever is comfortable for you, that's a great way to do that exercise. Okay, we've got our last set of cleans and presses here for this rotation. All right. Ready, and left arm cleans, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a question, are you training for anything specific? The answer is yes. And really it depends on who you're asking and who's doing the training, because there are a lot of general adaptations that have specific crossover into different domains. What do I mean by that? That sounds like a bunch of random words. So, with these rep ranges, these time intervals, what we're really focusing on right now is hypertrophy, lean muscle mass development, okay? So we're not necessarily focused on high-end strength. We might require more external load in order to do some high-end strength work. That's where it's really helpful to have dumbbells, a barbell, where you can load up with the weight, keep the reps moderate to low, and really start to focus on strength. But here we are focusing on lean muscle mass development, hypertrophy, and work capacity with these time intervals. Good question there. Okay. Give you guys a little bit of extra rest. We have left arm presses. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, time. You know what's next. Cleans on the right side, and then presses on the right side, and then we'll move on to a new circuit. Okay, getting ready for that right side, starting out with cleans. Pull it up quickly, keep it close to your body, then more so at the waist than you do at the knees. Keep your chest up. And time. Okay, last set of this circuit. One arm press on the right side. Okay, here we go. If you want to, feel free to stagger your stance a little bit. Still make sure we're pressing right overhead though. Feel free to get a little rotation so your palm can end facing out. You can let it face in on the way down. Time. Okay. Grab some quick water. Wipe the sweat off your face. I'm talking to myself. So our next circuit is going to be one arm cleans to front squat. That's actually one movement. So we're going to clean to front squat. That's going to be paired up with squat to presses. And obviously we're going to alternate left side and then right side as well. Any other questions here? Let's see. No other questions so far other than specific training. Feel free to ask away if you got anything. I'll try my best to stop and answer some questions. Okay. One arm squat to press on the left side. Okay, so we're gonna start here. One arm squat, down, feet flat, knees out, and then press. Make sure that these are separate movements, so you're staying in control, not crashing down in between either of them. Okay? And since we're loading you a little bit unilaterally here, meaning we don't have even distribution, try and stay upright and balanced. Okay, time. Same thing, but on the right side this time, or opposite side from what you started with last time. Okay, so I started with my left, now I'm going to my right, squat to press. Squat down, up, press, keeping my elbow up here, pressing overhead. Keeping my feet flat on the ground. This squat motion starts with the hips back and then down. Press overhead. Good. Rest. Now on the left side, we have clean to front squat. So again, we're gonna start here, and then you're gonna do a clean to our front squat, okay? Clean, front squat. Mentioned in the warm-up, there's gonna be a lot of hip dominant movement here. That's why we wanted to prepare those glutes. Make sure they're ready for action. And time. If you're following along, go ahead and rest. Moving on to clean to front squat on the other side. So I just do my left side, moving on to the right side. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Clean front squat. Again, pick a tempo that you can control and sustain for the entire time interval. Most of these time intervals are 20 to 40 seconds for this workout. Okay. Done with the first time through that part of the circuit. All right. Okay, one arm squat to press on the left side. And I'll get to your question here after this set. Okay, start with a squat and then a press. 20 seconds of this. Five more seconds to get to that 20-second mark. All right. Squat to press on the right. So the question is, trying to lose fat, any tips? That's a big question. But we can give you some pointers. But the reality of the situation is, by the way, we're doing squat to press. The reality of the situation is that it very much depends on who you are. Okay? Depends on your medical history, depends on your psychology, depends on your emotional state. We are, as strength coaches, while we need to be researched and we need to be informed on all of those psychological factors, it is not within our scope to diagnose or prescribe anything for psychological cases. That being said, I think the best thing that you can do if you have a goal of losing body fat is getting a baseline, consulting with experts, and measuring your progress. Okay? You can get pretty far with those things. And not only measuring, but modifying if needed, if you are or are not making progress. But definitely consult somebody who specializes in that, if that is a primary goal of yours. All right. Kettlebell, one arm clean to front squat. All right, ready? Oh, Start my timer. Okay, left arm clean to front squat. 3, 2, 1.
Come with me now. Come with me now.
Notice I'm keeping my chest up, sinking with the hips, keeping this kettlebell close to my body so it doesn't crash against me. Rest. We're almost there, you guys. We are almost there. Okay, clean to front squat on the right side. Ready. All right. Okay, we're almost done. We've got squat to press on the left, squat to press on the right, then we're done with the day's workout. Okay? So now that you know you only have 2 more sets left of exercises, figure out how much you want to push yourself because we're almost done. Okay, first one's 1 arm squat to press on the left side. Here we go. Squat, press. We got 5 more seconds left. And time. Okay. Moving on to the right side. Any more questions here? Fire away if you got them. Okay, squat to press on the right side. Last set. Ready. Squat, press. Try and stay balanced over that midline, keeping the chest up, keeping those feet flat. We're gonna get a guest appearance by my cat here, wearing a cone of shame. All right, go ahead and rest. Yeah, you wanna hang out right there? All right. Okay, so we're all done with our workout. We're gonna do a little bit of a cool down. Okay, if you have any questions, this is also a great time to ask away. First thing, let's go ahead and just get into a kneeling position here. Okay, so front foot right underneath the knee right underneath the hip. You can creep that front foot a little bit forward and just start to lean, chest out over the knee. Okay, we're not folding, staying tall, chest out over that knee. Just getting a stretch in here, okay? If you want to intensify this stretch, you can try and push your hips up, point your hips up towards the corner of the ceiling in front of you. You can also try pressing this back foot into the ground. So just pushing down with that back foot while leaning forward here. Okay, rest, switch to the other side. Okay, foot just barely in front of this front knee, hips up. Lean forward. Feel free to push that back foot into the ground to intensify this stretch here. You can also go arm overhead. Okay. Now, still gonna be in a kneeling position, but we're gonna set up our foot. So I'm facing you right now, but my foot Your hands a little bit more forward to get a little bit more of a stretch. This is also really good for those of us who've been working over a keyboard for most of the day, right? Because we get hunched over and now we're trying to lengthen some of those tissues. Okay, in this same position, feel free to crawl to one side. Just crawl the hands over to one side. Take some deep breaths. Inhale. Fill up that stretching side, and then exhale and crawl to the other side. Probably feel a stretch in your ribs or your low back. And back to the middle. And rest. If you have the Volt app, feel free to do another one of those mobility finishers. Otherwise, we're all done. Really good job. Let us know if you have any other questions. We will see you. So the rest of the Instagram live episodes this week. Tomorrow at noon Pacific time, bodyweight workout. Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, another kettlebell workout. We'll do day 2 on Thursday. And then Friday is 9 a.m. Pacific time with a bodyweight workout. Okay, so we got stuff going on every day. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow or the next day. We'll see ya.